All right, hello, and welcome to Afternoon Drive here on Joppa Radio. My name is Drew Moholland. Hope you're all having a good Thursday afternoon here. Hello to everybody streaming on the television or streaming on YouTube and at the Port Media website, and hello to everybody watching on the Port Media cable station as well. I hope you're all enjoying that, and of course, our loyal radio listeners on the radio station here, Joppa Radio. My name is Drew Moholland. It is Afternoon Drive. Very excited for today's show. We have another great guest. We'll get to that in a second. A lot going on today. Hopefully, this is like the second week in a row I've had to mention this, but hopefully none of you will really rely on the MBTA. Today, another tough day for the T. This time, the blue line. Interesting day for the blue line. That is the line that goes like under the water, if you know what I mean, like that aquarium stop and everything. You're kind of like under the harbor. You get the big shell, and you kind of take the thing underneath, and it's all very dark. And well, yeah, for those of you who've done that, you know what I'm talking about. But here's the thing: when you lose power on the blue line, and you're in one of those tunnels under the harbor, well, it's not a great feeling. Dark and well, no lights because you have no power. So what those people had to do today on their way to work or wherever they were going was get out of the blue line trains, I should say, and and walk out of the harbor. So, ooh, the camera broke. How about that? Look at that for you folks on TV. So not only the green line, the blue line having trouble, it is also, how about that? This is like a real trippy thing here, the old camera craziness. Wow, stay with us there, TV folks. Wait for it. Wait for it. Have I recovered? I think I recovered. Okay, that's good enough for now. Very interesting. I didn't know that camera could do that. So hello. Okay. Hello, we're back. For those of you on radio, that doesn't really translate to radio, but the little camera that we have here in the studio just fell. So there we go. We'll just call it a sound, we'll call it a little visual effect there as the camera rotated right. I think my producer just ran outside here for a second, and I think he, hopefully he wasn't watching out there. He probably had a heart attack, but we're back on the TV side, so sorry about that. But yes, so the blue line, big troubles today. They got back on track eventually, but oldest train system in the world, the MBTA. So keep that in mind. I know so many of you depend on it, but there's a lot of issues with the MBTA. So always leave yourself a little extra time, I guess, is the best thing we can say. Also today, one of my favorite events. I love all the golf majors. The PGA Championship is on right now, the golf tournament. My man, Ricky Fowler. I am really pulling for Ricky Fowler to win the PGA Championship. The man is finished in like the top 5 in a ridiculous amount of major golf championships, and he's never won one. So I'm really pulling for Ricky Fowler. He is at -5 after his round this morning. That is the leader right now. Ricky Fowler in the lead. Tiger Woods 5 shots back at even par. So that is going on right now, the PGA Championship. Enjoy that this weekend when you get a chance to watch it. Hopefully Ricky Fowler can take it home. That is the man I'm rooting for. Also Tiger Woods at even par. This thing's really moving on me, this camera. I'm going to keep an eye on this thing as we go. Tiger Woods at even par as well. So the golf is on. Patriots start their preseason campaign off today. Very exciting. Kinda. I don't know. I don't really get that into it, but whatever. People like it when football season's back around. And the Red Sox are, of course, cooking as well. So big sports weekend for you. I know you all get excited about that here on a nice summer August. But preseason football, that means fall right around the corner. We had Coach Smolsky in here from Newburyport Football the other day. That was very exciting. And on the golf note, we're going to make it a little bit of a golf show with the PGA Championships that I just mentioned. See, that's why I'm wearing the hat today, Pebble Beach, little golf theme. I get the head coach of Newburyport Golf in the house today, Steve Malenfant. So very excited about that. He's already here, so why don't I get to him? I'll get out of the way. Don't forget, you can follow the show at Joppa Afternoons on Twitter. That's at Joppa Afternoons on Twitter. I can't stop staring at the camera because I feel like it's going away. I feel like it's drifting away again. We're going to get this fixed during the commercial break. So at Joppa Afternoons on Twitter, be interactive with the show. I try to post as much as I can on there. So good way to keep in touch with the show. We enjoy it. There goes the camera. Good time to take a break. I'll be right back. It's Afternoon Drive on Joppa Radio. All right, welcome back to Afternoon Drive here on Joppa Radio. My name is Drew Moholland. Hope you're all having a good Thursday afternoon. It is still hot out there. I think that might be the case for August, so there you go. Stay cool. Our last show before the weekend, so have fun, whatever you're doing. Be safe. Maybe you're getting away. I am getting away. I took tomorrow off, too, so sorry for those of you who have to work tomorrow, but I'm taking the long weekend. Very excited, joined today by the head coach of Newburyport Golf, Steve Malenfant. Coach, first time in the studio here. I think it's the first time I've met you in person. Maybe a phone interview back in the day.
I've had a couple of phone interviews.
But yeah, a couple of phone interviews, but it's good to have you in the house here. How are you?
I'm great. Thanks for having me, Drew.
Absolutely. So I am very excited to have you in. It's a good day to have you in. PGA Championship starts up today. I was just saying before you came on, my guy who I always root for, Ricky Fowler, in the lead, 5 under. I don't know if you saw that. But,
yeah, he just jumped to the lead.
Yeah.
I noticed, yeah.
It's amazing when a few putts go in, huh?
And then Tigers was +1.
Back to even.
Back to even.
Birdied 18.
So he wants to stay close.
I think he wants
to play on the weekend.
It does. There's a feeling about him, isn't there?
Yeah.
If he's lurking, it's just a different feel, isn't it?
Yeah, sure is.
Well, anyways, you're getting close. You ready for a big golf season again?
We are.
A couple weeks away, right?
Yeah, we start up on the 23rd. We'll be out there. We'll be out there at 6 a.m. in the morning. We'll probably get there at 5:30. Put the headlights on the green and let kids putt before we start. Like I said, it's a rite of passage.
People are thinking, people are probably who maybe don't know golf are thinking that you're kidding, but no, you guys are out there before the sun rises and working on the short game there before you tee off and get a tryout round.
Absolutely,
in, right?
Yeah, absolutely. We have quite a few kids coming out too.
You know how many?
It looks like around 24 or so, and we only keep 16, unfortunately.
Yeah.
In the old days, we used to keep up to 30. I think we had 37 one year.
That's crazy. Yeah, that's probably when I was there, because I remember when I was a freshman. So I'm 31. So I was the class of 2005. So right around then, right around 2001, 2002, I think you had the Tiger boom.
Yeah.
Golf seemed to be at a bit of a peak right then. I remember my golf team, Denver High, had like 50 kids try out.
Oh, I know. You guys had big tryouts, and so did St. John's at the time. Yeah. And
you got a feel for the whole area, huh?
Yeah. Well, you got to see the best, and people like to play Raleigh sometimes because it was a tough little course at that time. Yeah. It's changed a little bit now.
Raleigh, yeah. We used to have at least one round of tryouts there.
Right.
We used to do a whole week. Is that what you guys do? Is it about a week?
About We're just going to have probably 4 or 5 days.
Okay.
I'm going to try to go 5 with the
That's
kids
probably
that
what we
toward the
did
bottom.
too. I don't think
It's a little bit more fair, and we let the upperclassmen stay with one group each.
Okay.
And they watch everything closely, and that's part of the tryout as well.
Nice.
And they get to learn things from the older kids too.
Nice.
Makes a big difference.
Excellent. Well, so what is the home course for Newburyport for people?
Our
who don't
home
know?
course is Raleigh Country Club.
Raleigh Country.
We've been back there. This is our 3rd year back. We took a couple of years and went up the road to. I can't even think of it. In
Old Newbury
Topsfield. Topsfield.
New Meadows.
New Meadows.
Okay. Yep.
And we were there for a couple of years, and we came back home to
Gotcha.
Raleigh, and it worked out quite well for us.
A little closer. Very
Yeah,
good.
we've had Cal champs the last 2 years.
Nice.
So
well, no wonder
that's
why you
always
don't
good
want to
for-
move again.
We don't want to move. We like it there. We like
Very
it
good.
there.
The one thing you gotta like about the golf coaches is always some of the best dressed on the show here, which is
Absolutely.
good. The nice collared shirt and everything. Newburyport logo, very nice. Is that the official golf team shirt this year?
This was last year's.
Last year's version.
We're
Okay.
probably going to have Under Armour this year, as a matter of fact.
all right. Interesting.
That's what the kids chose, and they choose every year.
Kids get to choose these things
Absolutely.
now. They never got to choose these
They get
things.
to keep them too. I don't know if you guys did.
I
but-
did get to keep them. However, funny story, my golf shirt misspelled my last name.
Ooh,
Yeah.
that's not good.
No.
That's not good.
And they did the old California Mulholland Drive thing. I'm M-O-H-O.
And I'm from New England.
See that? Yeah. I still wear the shirt though. It's nice and light. It feels good, and it makes me feel good that I can fit into it still. So golf tryouts coming up. What's the most exciting thing when you get a group? You probably already know some of the guys that are coming back for you that are going to be your big players.
We have some good players coming back who've been successful in every sport they've played. So. And over the years, since the kids, especially the seniors, they've been there since their freshman year. So
Yeah, you can name drop a little
pretty
bit. Who you got?
consistent. Okay, Jacob Grossi-Hogg.
Oh, okay. Hockey guy.
He's a hockey guy. Another hockey guy, Mike Toomey.
Yep.
And then a lacrosse guy, Max Katavalos. Those are our 3 captains. And somebody who's been really
He had a
helping
sister,
out.
right, at the school?
I don't know.
Katavalos? Because I think I used to butcher that name, and I used to say Katavalos, and I couldn't get it right. But sorry, go ahead, keep going.
And the Chase Pantelis has been helping us out quite a bit.
Excellent.
But we have excellent underclassmen coming up as well. So there's that nice transition.
Nice.
We'll miss Babcock and
Yeah.
Matt, but I think every sport will. Actually,
I miss him just as a radio guest.
he's
Well-spoken kid. and
he is, and I'll tell you, he was a leader.
Yeah.
He was somebody that would say, okay, here's what we have to do today, and there'll be times we can have fun.
Yeah.
But there are times, look, just get down to it.
Absolutely. I've actually talked about this with Matt too, because Matt was one of your big players, if I
Right.
remember correctly. He was he one of the All-Star guys? Or?
He was,
Yeah.
and so was Jacob.
Okay. So I remember talking about this with Matt specifically, though, because we were talking about a lot of those hockey guys do translate the game, the swing, I don't know, whatever it is. A lot of the hockey guys enjoy the golf, too. But I was talking with Matt, and we were talking about how, hockey's pressure, you get big playoff environments, but there is nothing more nerve-wracking than when you're sitting over a 6-foot putt or even, 4-foot putt, really, but a short putt that's just enough work left, and you got to make it to win a big hole or win a match.
And with him, and I'm sure he spoke of it. He would look around to enjoy the moment. He would take the moment.
Really?
He's one of those kids that takes the moment in.
It drives on it?
Oh, absolutely. And Jacob Grossi-Hogg, he's a little different kind of intensity, a little more of a bulldog with it, but exactly the same temperament.
What's he saying? Make a little noise or something?
I think if they had the choice, they probably would.
A little too close to that
my
for your
goodness.
liking?
Yeah. It'd drive you crazy with that.
Oh man, that's too funny.
No, and he did great 2 years in a row in the state finals and everything.
Yeah.
Just quality kid.
That must be a fun ride for you too.
It was a fun drive,
Yeah.
as I'm sure you've had too, going out to Western Mass.
It's a long trip
drive,
out there.
but it was worth it.
I got family out there. I got to go there all the time.
Yeah.
But well, that's cool. What's the biggest thing? Golf is it's one of those games that things change, but they kind of always remain the same. I wonder, I look at the golf teams now and I say, the structure's still the same. They still carry the same amount of kids. What's the biggest change over the years on the high school golf team?
I think recently, and I think maybe it is it's the Tiger element. The players that you have coming out now compared to, I've been around this for 19 years now, Newburyport Golf specifically. Before, players, at least in this area, we didn't have that many experienced kids. You might have 1 or 2.
Yeah.
And now we have players who are playing the entire summer. They play in the off season, and most of the time they're playing together. I don't know if that says something about the program, but I think I see the same thing with Triton. I see the same thing with Amesbury and Pentucket. The same.
You mean your guys like each other? That's a good thing.
They like each other. They like each other to torture each other.
Yeah.
They said, "Come on, do it some more." You know.
Well, that's funny because that was the best part about. For me, was golf practice. Well, the football guys are running out there doing double sessions. We're out there playing, 9 holes, maybe more.
Well, I told them we were going to start doing sprints this year.
Oh, is that right?
And unfortunately, I have a couple of kids who really don't know sarcasm, and so they're ready to sprint. I think they're going to be wearing their sneakers as well.
That is fantastic. Yeah. Maybe you scared a few off. Maybe your numbers are down.
Yeah, might do it. Yeah. But I think what you're talking about, the thing that hasn't changed in the game is coming into the season ready to chip, ready to putt, working your short game. And what I tell the kids when we have our meetings, if you can get the ball down the middle, all you have to do is work on your short game, and you'll be in great shape.
Absolutely.
And I think the more they think that way, I think the more they can handle pressure with one another too.
Isn't that? You can drive the ball all over the course, but if you're not chipping and putting, you're not scoring.
The old saying, drive for show, putt for dough.
Oh, my grandfather used to tell me every single day.
Yeah. with his wooden clubs.
Yes, yeah. Well, he eventually upgraded, but you're right. They were wooden for a while. Yeah. Again, we're talking with Coach Steve Malenfant, head golf coach over at Newburyport, getting ready for the season here, just a couple weeks away. You talked about how your guys seem to get along here these days, which is always a good thing for practice and team chemistry. It's also probably a good thing. Golf practice is unique. You go out and you play. That's how you get better. You play, and you can work on the range and work around the putting green, but you do eventually want to get out and play some holes and play.
And that's the thing. Most of the kids, what I found the last few years especially, that they've translated it well from the range to the course. I think the pressure they put on one another is outstanding pressure, and they challenge each other every practice to do better, and they will call each other out if they miss something they shouldn't miss, but they'll also help each other out too.
That's good. So there's some competitive practices.
Very much so.
Yeah, that's cool.
Very much so.
That must make it better because it's a unique sport. People don't realize. You go out there, you play with. Usually, you go out there's a foursome. You're out there with one of your teammates, but really your job is to beat one guy on the other team. So it's a foursome, but it's different. It's not your casual Saturday weekend round. It's a whole different mindset.
And you're your own official.
And you're your own official.
And that really does make a big difference. And the honesty part of the game is really significant.
Yeah, you learn a lot that way, don't you?
Yeah. I think it translates well in life and business and so forth too.
Well, that's why they said that's why golf is such a great game, right? You can learn. That's why so much business is done out there.
And I'll tell you, I've had more parents through the years who have said, I want him to learn how to play golf, even if he's not that good, or she's not that good, because I want them to be able to play in a business environment.
Absolutely. Very good. I don't know what your how does the tryouts work? Do you take the top scores from tryouts and what number one's going to be number one, number two, or do you have some leeway as a coach?
I think we have leeway at times.
Yep.
But in general, I try to keep it straight.
Yeah.
The only time that it changes, obviously, is when there's a tight competition.
Yep.
And then there's a challenge. I don't know if you guys had challenges, but we will set up a challenge. And so it might be for the 7 and 8 spot.
Yep.
And so you have 4 people going for those 2 spots, and then you find out how do they handle pressure.
Yeah, that's a good way to do it, I guess.
It's a great way to do it.
Nothing more pressure-packed than that.
With all the rest of the team watching you.
Yeah.
Especially on the 9th hole. And most of the time it comes down to the 9th hole when you have 7 and 8 people.
That's interesting. Well, they were close after 4 or 5 days, so it's probably going to be I remember my coach, who you actually know, my old golf coach, his name was Jeff Avesian at Danvers High.
Sure.
I remember I think he left a little leeway because, and I forget if this made him not pick me one year, if it actually got me picked a year later. I can't quite remember, but I remember him saying, you got a point or 2 higher, and I can't remember if it was me or if it was the kid above me. I'm trying to remember what my game was like back then. It's been a little while, but he said, you had a bunch of points and you made a birdie here, you chipped in for another birdie here, which is great, stacked up your points, but I kind of want the kid that's making the bogeys every hole.
Consistent.
It's number 8 spot. Bogeys are going to win a lot of these holes.
Absolutely correct.
And I always kind of took that so consistency is what we're looking for here. Got to get more consistent.
And I think when we've gotten down to it, the players who have been doing the work in the off season, that those last 2 days of tryouts, you really see how much work they put in.
Yeah.
and you don't bother, you don't try not to bother those kids then until after. Say, you know what, let's fix this because this might translate into you winning tomorrow.
Yeah.
And they like those. I think they like the small tips. You don't want to. You're not trying to change people,
right?
Because you really can't during tryouts that much anyway.
Yeah,
you can make suggestions.
You get a week with them, right?
Oh my goodness, yeah.
But and then the other thing too. I mean, we talk here as adults who play the game. Obviously, I'm wearing my Pebble Beach hat today, just accidentally, but it worked out. But we talk here as adults, but you also add in the factor that these are kids.
They are kids
who are going to screw up and are going to make mistakes, and I'm sure you've seen plenty of that over the years as well.
We have, and they're held accountable for it.
Yeah.
I'd say that there are times that we have situations out on the course where people haven't been held accountable, but we hold them accountable.
If they ends up being a good life lesson, right?
Absolutely.
I mean, if you're not learning from those mistakes,
and players aren't happy about it sometimes when you're making those decisions as a coach.
Yeah.
But it usually works out in the long run.
Yeah.
And that's what matters as far as I'm concerned as a coach anyway, as a teacher.
Absolutely. And a teacher, yes. You talk about that element of it, dealing with a high school kid. You also have that element of, it's probably the first time in your life, really. I mean, maybe some of these kids have been good enough to play tournaments at a young age and stuff, but it's probably for most of those kids the first time in their lives that people are following them around the golf course for these matches, and parents are sitting up on the hill beyond the green. And
there's your biggest change.
Oh.
Most of the courses don't
really
have people following you.
That is a shocker to me.
Yeah.
Really? So parents can't go out?
Well, you have to think of the courses we play, too. We're going to open up at Myopia.
Oh, okay.
So they don't allow.
It's a bit private.
It's private. And then we'll be we're down in Manchester also at the Essex Club last year.
How about Raleigh?
And Raleigh, that's been a change. They
won't let you. Wow.
They're not having.
So that is the biggest change, actually.
That is a big change. But of course, they can be on the first tee. They can be on the ninth, by the ninth green.
Okay.
And most of the times, players will say to the parents, "Stay home. I don't want you to come."
Yeah. I mean, we certainly had our fair share of that too. But for some reason, I remember almost every golf course we ever played, we had parents maybe following their kid. It was at least a handful of people usually on each hole, which was.
And I'll tell you, the place that had the most parents, and actually they still do, is Triton.
Triton, yeah. Triton. I'm gonna love the rivalry.
You did. I think you did play them, right?
Oh, jeez, it's amazing, Coach. I don't even remember.
Yeah, because they do back-to-backs now. They play.
They weren't in our. Obviously they weren't in
Northeast
the league,
Conference,
but NEC, but.
That was with Effecto kids and everything back then.
Yeah, that rings a bell. Although we had Effecto in our town too.
Andrew
Effecto. Okay. Yeah, I can't quite remember. I don't think we did play Triton. I don't know. It's tough to remember.
Yeah.
I'm getting older. See,
it happens.
It does happen. Yeah. But I'm so very good. All right, well, Coach, let's do this. We'll take our first break. We'll come back and do a lot more because if this is a very smooth moving conversation, and I'll forget to take any breaks if we keep going. So let's do that. Steve Malenfant, he's the head golf coach over at Newburyport, teacher. He's actually taught a couple of the guys that are working here. Tyler Neufeld producing on the radio side today. Tyler, former student, I believe. How many years ago?
7 years ago.
7 years ago. How does Coach Malenfant realize that before you do? He's sharper than you are. And David Kramer producing the TV side, also a student?
Also a student.
Unbelievable. So you don't get through Newburyport without going through you.
Now you do, because I'm retired.
Retired from teaching, not from golf. Yeah. And these guys aren't playing golf, so...
No.
I don't think. You play golf?
I'm a lefty. I've played...
Tyler says he's a lefty. He plays mini golf.
Mini golf. Yeah. It's a challenge.
All right, so much more with Coach Malenfant in just a moment. This is Afternoon Drive on Joppa Radio. My name is Drew Moholland. Keep it right here.
I would understand. Then you put the gun in my hand. You know I would do anything for you. Please don't ask me to. Wake me if too deep, the nightmare comes and goes, and the demons pull the strings of the heroes. And I can't get the blood out of me.
All right, welcome back to Afternoon Drive here on Joppa Radio. My name is Drew Moholland. Hope you're all having a good day out there, staying cool. It is hot. It will, I think, continue to be hot through the weekend. I work in a newsroom and hear the weather every 10 minutes, and I have no idea what really the forecast is going to be because after a while it just kind of all sounds the same. So bad job by me. But I think it's going to be a decent weekend. Again, we're joined by Steve Malenfant. He is the head golf coach over at Newburyport, former teacher. Had a bunch of the workers that are here in the studio today, so that's been pretty fun. Coach Malenfant, we've been talking about all sorts of stuff. One thing we noticed here is you get yourself some nice little plaque here.
Yeah, we have our hardware from last year.
There it is. There's the championship.
And the key member of our group is Coach Bill Gerzak. He's been around forever.
He'll
say that, yeah.
Bill Gerzak. So
Bill Gerzak. He'll be assisting us this year, and there's a chance that Mike Guthrie, one of the teachers at the high school, will be helping us out as well.
Do you guys still get out there as coaches and swing with the kids, or?
Well, we do when we're trying to show some things.
Yeah.
I try to avoid it, because it's concentration. You know,
Yeah.
I'm concentrating on them.
Yeah.
They don't want to watch me.
And you gotta get
Trust me, they don't want to watch me.
You gotta watch. Gotta get the whole big picture too.
That's
right?
it.
You can't be
We're flying around on the golf cart.
Yeah, absolutely.
And making sure everybody's doing what they're supposed to.
So what's the? We talked about. So you don't have the element of people on every hole anymore, but you did mention everybody tends to huddle around the last hole.
Sure.
Nothing's changed there. It happens for tryouts too, right?
Yes.
People coming in.
Yes.
So that hasn't changed.
And they want to leave.
They want to leave.
They want to leave because it's 9:30. They woke up at 5 o'clock, 5:30 in the morning.
Okay.
So they're kind of sluggish at that point. No, we're going to watch today. You want to watch how people finish.
The kids really do struggle with getting up early, don't they?
They really do. It's such a treat to watch. It really is. It really is. It's hilarious.
That is fantastic.
Some it takes 2 holes for them to wake up.
Coaching staff enjoys that. Some look less put together than usual, maybe.
Yeah.
We used to have a thing. We used to know who was having a rough round when we would all huddle around the last hole.
Right.
If somebody had the collar up on the the collar up, that was the look. That meant oh boy.
Please don't talk to me.
I think we're losing that match.
Right.
But
we have what Jacob does. Jacob does not want you to talk to him during the match. Grassy Hog, yeah. He does not want you to talk to him.
Okay.
So we don't. I won't talk to him. And I'm always trying to figure out now, does he have 20 points or does he have 36 points? And he really blocks it out.
Yeah.
And he'll have a shot that any of us would say he just about striped it.
Yeah.
But it was just to the left of where he wanted to have it. So you just shake your head, say, seriously?
Little Dustin Johnson in him.
Yeah, exactly.
Even keeled. Well, that's good though. If you don't want a guy getting too down either, so that's probably
and I think that's probably at least the team last year and the year before. I don't think anybody really would lose their cool.
Yeah.
We had Frankie Kearney, and Frankie came up very strong for us. Was second half of the season. He just did a heck of a job for us.
Yeah.
Max Catavalos, he had a good season. He came up with some key matches for us. Same with Ethan Coyer and those folks.
And remind me, it's not. I'm just trying to remember the scoring system. It's total points, right?
It's total points now.
That's pressure too. As a coach, if you get a guy who drops the first 5 holes, which I'm sure has happened at the high school level, right?
Right.
You gotta almost tell the kid, you know what, you're not gonna win the match, but battle. A couple holes here could be important.
And I won't do it. I won't say it during a match.
Yeah.
Because
you'll never say that.
Not during the match.
They
I'm not gonna, why stress them more? All they're going to do is squeeze the club a little tighter.
Yeah.
No, but if they're playing bogey golf, there's a chance they're going to be in. Although the way that against the better teams this past year and the year before, bogey golf wasn't
not
always. No, you had to be a little bit better than bogey golf, and that's why it was great competition with Hamilton Wenham, with Masco, and so forth. With North Reading will be somebody that'll be tough for us again.
Yeah.
Linfield.
Talk about that
You know.
competition, because I mean, Bogey Golf is a nice player.
Yeah.
You know,
It's a-
talking about an 18 handicap.
And you're talking 1% of the population.
What is that? What it is? 1%?
You know,
I mean, I don't.
if
know.
you're some people that are anybody who plays under 100,
Yeah.
you know, that's 1% of the population overall.
I got plenty of family members who get out far too often and are still struggling to break 100.
Yeah.
It's amazing how that can happen, but it is a unique game in that regard. It's a mental test. It's a physical test, obviously, but really half that battle is mental, isn't it?
It is. And I'll tell you, the players that we've had, person that really took that on last year is somebody who did the same thing in baseball and in hockey or in basketball, Ryan Archie.
Yeah.
You know, he took charge in basketball. I know you had the opportunity to see that.
Yeah.
And in baseball in the early portion of the season,
Did
same
you listen
thing.
to the play-by-play? Is that what that was?
Yeah, pretty much. No, but he just does. He just did some great things for us, and we have a lot of young kids who are going to do a great job for us. Sam Lyman, who had a good season last year for us, and he's going to be a sophomore. And the two Richmonds, Colin and Cam Richmond, I know that they'll provide something for us too. And Jake Robertson and Andrew
So
Collin.
you get a big smirk on your face. You already know
I
you
like
got some talent coming back.
Well, I know that they're all competitive, and it's interesting sitting down with the seniors. They say, I'm going to watch these guys carefully.
Yeah.
And I think that's not a bad thing.
Yeah.
And they're going to make sure that there's pressure put on them to be better.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, that's where I was going too when I talk about all those people behind the last hole. Is that because that is an element of pressure when it all comes down to the final hole, or even in tryouts with your own teammates.
Yeah.
I mean, that's intense stuff with everybody watching.
And it separates the wheat from the chaff.
Yes.
You know, it really does.
And it's just, I mean, I can't imagine being I guess I can imagine. I did do it, the tryouts thing, but I wasn't competing for a varsity spot my freshman year, but I can't imagine being like a freshman thinking I got a shot to make varsity and having like an 8-foot putt or something.
Right.
I'd be a nervous wreck as a freshman.
What are the two worst parts of tryout? That first one when everybody's looking at you when you're a freshman, and then the last one when you're coming off by yourself.
Oh yeah.
And you say, okay, I have to make this putt.
Well,
you know.
Here's one to take the pressure off all the freshmen this year. My very first varsity tryout as a freshman, I told you we had like 50 people come out.
Right.
Everybody's dreading being the first group off.
Of course.
I, of course, was named number 2 called. So I'm in the first foursome. I took out my driver. I'd been hitting it well all summer up in Maine, right down the middle, feeling good about it, gripping it a little tighter. Dead hook left off a tree and off a house.
Absolutely.
Hit the tree, hit a house.
Yeah.
So I said, not the start we were looking for, but
well done.
Yes.
Well, that's it. And what I tell them when we meet that first day, I say, look, the record for shortest drive is actually 10 feet behind the hole.
Yeah.
And they're looking at me.
How'd that
They
go?
said, it was interesting because what happens, somebody hooked it and hit the piece of wood. And it went back 10 feet. T-box.
Oh, the T-box. Oh.
So they turned their hands. They were saying, okay, I've got to turn my hands over. I have to turn my hands over.
Yeah. Oh, jeez.
Well, they did. They did.
Unbelievable. Well, that's interesting. Do you notice, at least at the professional level, you got the, and beyond professional level too, lower levels, but the equipment's always getting better. You don't see you see the big drivers now.
Yeah.
Pretty much everybody
has
with a
them.
huge head, right? A big driver head. Is that a big change? The equipment? Are kids hitting the ball 10 yards longer than they were 5 years ago? Or?
I think they hit better. Period.
Yeah.
I could say that from even the players who we cut last year.
Yep.
We had 4 players we had to cut, and that was awful. That was not fun.
Yeah.
But any other year before that, they would have been the type of kids who would make it.
Yeah.
I could say with a clear certainty that the 21 kids that came out last year would have all made it in the past, and they would have been in the higher point level.
Right.
They were. It's just the way things have changed, and I think it's much more competitive now.
Yeah.
I think there's probably more opportunities out there as well.
Yep.
And they're all playing. They're all playing in those summer leagues, the New England League, the all that sort of thing.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah,
there's a big difference between the kid. If you're driving the long ball, I don't know what you see. If you're having a guy that's driving the ball really long, or maybe just the they can really shorten a course, just like a Dustin Johnson.
Right.
People think he's going to walk all over this PGA course because he's got a pitching wedge in every time.
Right.
I'm sure there's some kids at Raleigh who are a pitching wedge in every time, right? I can't quite remember that course, but I feel like
Well, if you remember, there's water down at the bottom of the first hole.
Par 4 uphill, downhill, and then uphill, right?
That's par 4. Yeah. And then it's a little mucky usually on the left. I'm sure it won't be this year.
Yeah.
But you had kids say when somebody from Hamilton or St. John's at that time, when they were hitting the ball, and you had some kid that was putting the ball over the water.
Really? That's
back then. Those were way back when. I can remember that one year. I said, oh my God! Yeah. Tell our kids, let them pull out their drivers. Yeah. Let them do it, because they're not going to make it.
Put a little 4-iron in the middle.
There you go, 4-iron, and
are most kids playing irons, or the hybrid lifestyle?
The better players play their irons.
Play the irons, yeah.
Yeah, and they've learned how to manipulate them, and I think that's the thing. They've learned how to manipulate their irons. The hybrids, I think they work for a place like Myopia.
Yep.
They're good at Essex, at the Essex Club. Even Ipswich,
yep,
because of the fescue and everything like that.
Yeah.
You know, I think that it's for most kids.
Yeah, that makes sense.
They can do it. Yeah.
It seems like a lot of the older guys I play with all like the hybrids. Like,
sure.
Just a little longer, but whatever the case.
Right.
I like my irons. I prefer to.
I enjoy using the irons more now.
Yes.
I wouldn't say I did when I was a kid though, because you want to.
Yeah, I'm not as interested in that anymore.
I wanted to rock one right into the trees.
Exactly. Yeah, it takes too much out of you these days. So you already mentioned your coaching staff a little bit. How important is it? And again, we're joined by Steve Malenfant, the head golf coach over at Newburyport. Kind of getting you ready for the season here in a couple weeks. You've already mentioned your coaching staff, and you got some good help. How important for you is that when you start talking about 16 kids, and maybe there's a day where you're just trying to really work with somebody, and you kind of got to let a coach go. Here, you take the rest of the group.
Can I tell you, we've been so lucky with Coach Gerzak. He's been volunteering for quite a while, and he keeps kids loose. Yeah. And that's the main thing. But he'll also, if there are specific things that we've worked on, he'll point that out to them, slow them down, you know, that sort of thing. And that's usually the biggest thing with younger kids, because they want to rush that shot.
Especially if you're struggling, right? You always see the kid who, I always look for, like, even the walking pace in between shots.
Move it.
You know, if that's somebody's moving there, it's like, you know what, take a breath.
And if you go from one spot to the other, once you get there, take your breath. Yeah. Take a look, check everything, you know, and I think that's the beauty of having a good assistant. Yeah, is that they're telling them the same thing.
And there's no carts out there. People, I think a lot
except
of people,
us, except the adults.
Yes. Yeah. Well, coach is got to be buzzing around the whole course, but that's one thing too. That it's just like just like the pros. You got to go walk the course. It's part of the game at the high school level as well. So very interesting. What do you? So you won't usually talk to a kid during a match. You won't try to put more pressure on.
No.
You won't try to even try to relax anybody. It's pretty much.
If somebody's looking at me like I need, I'll wait till that happens. If they need me, I'll say, shh, just relax, because you can't do anything technical.
Right.
Anyway,
it's too late for that.
Yeah. Well, you're not allowed to.
Oh,
you can't. You really can't coach.
Gotcha.
But you can. You can talk to them for a second. Hey, relax. Everything's fine. And I don't ask them how many points they have at that point. I really don't, because one player might have 20. I'll say, oh, that's great. Yeah. And they want the 30, and there's another kid who has 20, and 16 had been his best.
Right.
That type of thing. So you're trying to make them relaxed. Whatever works for each player. You try and deal with them as individuals.
And what do you do? So take me on that practice green or driving range. When you're not coaching in match, and maybe somebody's just been struggling. It's been a couple weeks of struggling. You can feel that kid putting pressure on it. What's the go-to speech?
What's funny is that, okay, you can do it your way. Yep. Let's see how it works. And let them make their mistakes, and they'll get frustrated.
Yep.
And you make the suggestion once.
Yep.
Make the suggestion, you might want to try this club, or you might not want to use your sand wedge on the edge of the green. You might want to try your pitching wedge. Or whatever works for. If something works for them, I'm not going to change them.
Yeah.
However, if somebody's having trouble on their chips, and they're using the sand wedge, or they're trying flop shots because it's the fun shot.
Yeah.
But look, what works for you a little better, you might use a 7-iron from a short distance instead and chip it up.
Yeah.
Or you may use your pitching wedge because it's going to catch a little bit better. You know. And I think that's.
Don't be afraid to putt that ball. Come on.
Yeah. Well, there are other things you say there too, but you know, with putting, you know, are you over the ball? And then you just watch them, get behind them, you know, try to help them with that. And if their pace is off, we'll use the string and the tees to line them up and make sure. Look, just see how it goes here. Are you turning your hands a little bit? You know, and with the pace, just line it up that way. How close are you to the string that we've lined up there? Never mind the hole. We're not worried about that right now. We'll do the single putts too, single hand putts.
Yeah.
Because it works.
Yeah.
You know,
I just saw Phil Mickelson teaching that.
That's it. How about that, huh?
Yeah.
It's very cool.
So that's you talking to me right there. Very middle of the road golfer.
Right.
That's very mistakes that everybody makes. But I'm sure you've had some of these kids that are not middle of the road golfers.
No,
top of the line
oh
stuff.
My goodness.
You got to handle those kids differently, don't you?
Totally. And what you're dealing with is where their head is that day.
Yeah.
I'm not going to change Matt Babcock.
Yeah.
I'm not going to change
What was he shooting
Brendan.
I never asked him. I just knew he was good, but I don't think I ever asked him.
He's not going to tell you.
Yeah,
he's
I
not going to tell you.
ask him, actually. You're probably right.
He was generally, I'd say, 1-2 under.
Really?
Generally.
He was that good?
He was good. And
I wish I knew that when I was.
And he was better. I felt as though he was much better when there were better players around playing against him.
Yeah.
Because he likes competition.
Yep.
And Brendan Crowther, who graduated a few years ago, he was the same way. He played out his mind. Freshman year was awful. I mean, he was the kid that today he probably would have been cut.
Really?
You know, based on what we have today. But the numbers that we had then, he made the cut and he struggled. Then he said, "I'm going to make this what I'm going to do." Didn't play hockey, didn't play baseball. He loved golf.
Dedicated.
And he came and dedicated himself to being a good player.
That's a good story for you.
Yeah.
What you can do when you put your mind to it.
That's
it. It's such a great game because you can play it for the rest of your life.
That's it.
You know, I mean, it's when you talk about a kid who wasn't good as a freshman, maybe hadn't played much until then, and then quickly gets a love for it, and then a couple of years later, you get yourself a decent little player on your hands.
And that mental part to the game, as they learn it through those first 2 years, I'm sure that worked that way for you.
Yeah.
After they say, okay, I know what I have to do on this course. Do this.
Yep.
And it's really, I think math kids should be better at golf than anybody.
Yeah.
Because of the angles and so forth.
Yeah.
You know.
How about that kid DeChambeau? Like he's like Mr. Analytics out there. You know?
That's it. And say, okay, what do I want to do?
Yeah.
And it's the same as if you're going to hit out of the woods. Well, what are the odds? Not everybody's Tiger Woods.
Right.
And can put it around the tree and all that sort of thing.
I used to like the Johnny Miller saying, which is, get into trouble, get out of trouble.
Period.
Yes.
Chip it out.
Yeah. Go to the next shot.
Or you let a kid do that during practice. Say, how'd it work out for you?
Yeah.
Not well. Where would you be if you had just chipped out? Oh, it'd be a lot closer.
Yeah. Well, you don't get that ball out. You're pretty much at that level, giving a hole away.
You're giving the hole away.
Whereas you get out of trouble, you might at least keep the pressure on for a
And we go, and they do count doubles too. So we get 1 point for a double bogey.
Oh, okay.
And that's a little different than the adult version of,
right.
You know.
It's funny. Did that scoring change from back in the day?
Yep.
It did, because it used to be just a point for a hole, a half a point for a split, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's what you meant.
And
You're saying 30 versus 20. I was registered my head. I was trying to get my head around it, but that's what you mean by that.
So
okay.
and part of the logic to that was that you wanted kids to be in the match for 9 holes.
Right.
Every point you get is important to the team.
Right. Okay. It actually makes sense. So you're not so much playing the guy across from you anymore.
Right.
That's good.
And that's the biggest argument. That's the biggest argument against it.
So, Coach, I think we've landed on what the biggest change is here.
Yeah.
I was back in the old point system.
Yeah.
Okay, that's very interesting.
Yeah. After the 5th hole, if you're walking carrying your bag like this, okay, get off the course.
Yeah, my goodness, that is different. Yeah, well, that would keep you engaged the whole time. Certainly, very interesting. Again, we're joined here by Steve Malenfant. He's the head golf coach over at Newburyport. Longtime teacher. You missed the teaching at all?
I'm still subbing a little bit.
Yeah.
But I've always taught. From when I was a little kid and everything, they probably didn't want me to.
You're still teaching on the golf course, though.
Always. Well, then I'm asking about English class, too. So what did Mr. Abrams give you this for homework? You know?
He told you what?
No, that's not true.
I'm just kidding.
No, that's what I would say to him. No, he's wrong.
Gotcha. You listen to me here. Yes, a lot of lessons learned out there on the golf team. What's the, so you're talking about 24 kids you said in 2 weeks or so? 24, was that the number?
24, around 24, I think.
And that means you're looking at cuts again, right?
Eight kids.
Yeah, talk to me, but I think it's also good for parents because when I was in high school, I remember thinking to myself, like coaches, like, you know, parents would get very upset at coaches. My son deserved to be there. My girl deserved to be there. And once you grow up and get removed from it a little bit, you kind of look back and realize those coaches hate cutting kids.
You hate it.
I've never met a coach since I grew up that liked cutting people.
And I'll tell you, Coach Pettingill, when he coached the team before I did, and he wouldn't cut. He wouldn't cut. He did everything. Well, we do everything to keep kids because you'd say these are the kids who are going to be the future by their senior year. Yeah. And 9 times out of 10, that's what would happen. We'd have a kid who was just wanted to be there and may have gone from number 27 and ended up in the top 8. You know, wow. No, and if we're cutting 8 kids this year, that's going to be awful. But I think you're right. I think what the 4 kids who were cut last year did after they were cut, Coach Doobie told me, what are you doing sending your kids over here? Every day, 4 kids were going over to Old Newbury so that they'd be ready for this year.
Oh, wow.
And I think that's the coolest thing.
To hear, huh?
Oh, and if I went into school to sub, I would say to them, I said, I'm proud of you. That's the neatest thing you can do, especially if you love it. Yeah, and that's what most kids want to know, that you know that they're trying, that they want to do it again.
That is really cool. Those stories are great. It is true. I've honestly never met a coach who said, you know, I really wish we could cut some more kids this year. You know,
that's my goal.
It's painful. Yeah? I mean, the coaches literally go home and it hurts them when they're having dinner and stuff. Yeah. One of my favorite stories is from my freshman basketball team. Danvers had never really cut kids for basketball, or at least in a long time. My group, really athletic group, and we just had huge numbers turn out. And we had all been playing basketball forever, you know, and we had a huge amount of kids come out for freshman basketball. What do you keep on a basketball team? Maybe 14 guys max?
12,
maybe?
Probably 12.
Yeah, so I think we were maybe looking at 14 just to extend it. We had like 25, 26 kids. And I remember my freshman coach at the time was saying, we're going to have to cut all these guys. Tryouts were incredible, unbelievable games, pickup games, because everybody was going all out. And kids you play at the Y with and everything. Right. And at the end, the coach sat us all down right when everybody thought the cuts were coming. This is my golf coach, by the way, was the freshman coach. And one of the coolest things I remember, and I still remember to this day, was he said, keeping you all. We're going to find a way to do it. We're going to scrimmage like that every single day. We're going to dress as many as we can dress, but practice will be fun. And I remember it was the greatest year. We had be careful.
Watch it.
The camera's on me. Don't worry about it. It was incredible. And I remember it to this day and still tell the story that we had so much fun that freshman basketball year. I mean, none of us got nearly as much playing time as we should have.
But you were all together as a team.
And we were all together as a team. Practices were just as fun as the games. We would break off into scrimmages, and it was a blast, you know?
One of the things that the Northeast Conference used to do, they used to have an A and B team in basketball.
Yep.
And we had, at Newburyport, because we were in the Northeast Conference, we had 36 kids on the team.
Wow.
36. But most teams did, because that means you had 18 and 18. Yeah. Well, I was the next last guy.
Yeah.
I just, you know, and then but you had a goal. Yeah. To get better, and I think, and because they had the B team, it just gave everybody an opportunity. Yeah. That's back when all the communities were much larger too.
Absolutely.
Obviously.
I think it's great, especially at that freshman level. When you can't always do it. There's certain rules.
Freshmen are hilarious. They really are.
They are. Yeah. Your favorite age group?
Yeah, I like freshmen. I enjoy freshmen. You can tell. I don't know. Tyler can tell you. I enjoy freshmen.
If you keep flax like that, I think you'll take the Babcocks of the world any day.
I didn't have him as a freshman. Thank goodness. No, I'm kidding.
Oh, what a golfer.
Yeah, he is.
So the team, again, give us the dates, final few minutes here. We start again on the...
We start on the 23rd.
Those are tryouts. That's tryouts early.
Really early, and the first 5 days, so it'll be the 23rd, 24th, and then on Sunday they'll have a practice also, and I'll probably do the bottom 8 kids, because I have to make that decision to see where they are. Yep. More than likely, and then we open up against Hamilton Wenham on the 4th.
Okay.
And then the next day,
should be a fun match.
It should be a really fun match, and then the next day we play Masco. So those are two. They're always solid in the league. And Hamilton was very strong last year. as well. I think they won their division, and
And
we
you
won
play
ours.
everybody twice, is that right?
No,
It's not-
unfortunately,
okay.
we don't. We
don't think we did either.
We play everybody once for a league championship. A lot of that has to do with scheduling.
Yeah.
A lot of adult leagues during the fall.
And what a gig. You guys get to take these kids out and play Myopia?
Yeah.
I've never played Myopia.
Yeah, that's everybody should be jealous. It's probably the only time in their life that they're going to be able to play these type
Yeah.
of quality courses.
It is amazing. I remember we were spoiled. My home course was the Ferncroft.
So
golf practice was a
Ferncroft.
round at Ferncroft every day. It was not. Life was okay back then. Took it for granted, actually.
I think most kids do.
There's the lesson. Do not take that for granted, all you golfers.
It's a great opportunity.
Never get a chance to do that again. But and it's fun just being out there with your friends every day. And it, like I said, you can play it all the way through your life. You still play a lot, or
not as much as I want?
No, yeah. Well,
this year,
nobody does as much as they want, right?
This year, hardly at all. Honestly,
You
yeah.
haven't got out?
What I've been doing is I've been building a baseball field in my backyard.
No kidding.
Yes. That's what I've been doing.
What kind of baseball field?
A regulation field.
A legit baseball field?
Yeah. I'm in the middle of doing that right now.
Really?
Yeah.
So the former
You
baseball
took me
coach,
away from it.
I apologize for that. So this isn't like one of those, not a
Thanks.
football field. This is a legit baseball field.
Yeah. From my grandsons and everything. And
wow. What a task.
Yeah. And we have 3 holes for golf too.
Unbelievable.
Yeah. So I put those in. I put that in toward the beginning of the season. It's not perfect.
You're going to need to send us a finished picture.
Okay, I'll send a picture.
That is fantastic.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
So that
we've been having fun with it.
Who put you up to this? Is this?
I just said the kids wanted me to show them, and we were up above at the house, and I said, wait a minute. We've got a big space there. Let's try it.
Yeah.
Short porch and left, so they're happy.
Yeah. Put a monster up?
That'll not yet. I'll probably put a yellow tape across because there's a lot of trees there.
Yeah.
But that's what I'm doing anyway.
Very cool.
It's fun.
What was my final question to you? So you did golf, baseball,
basketball,
probably some other stuff too.
Basketball, soccer. Let's see what else. I used to coach gymnastics, Clipper City.
Yep. Any favorite one to coach? Is there like a love? My love is baseball.
Well,
I'm not playing golf.
As I've said to my wife, my passion is baseball, and I like basketball a lot, and I love golf too.
Yeah.
She said, "How about me?" I said, "Well, you're number one. It goes without saying."
That is too funny. I actually just had the golf conversation. I said, I haven't been out in a while, and my wife said, you literally took one weekend off. I said, is that true? I guess it is true. We had to do some cabinets and that sort of stuff. But golf is a great game. Baseball, they're all great.
They're all great.
Is one philosophy that you've taken out of coaching? Maybe coaching, teaching. Maybe it's all the same.
I think what you do is you compete hard while you're on the field. Once it's over, move on to the next lesson.
Yeah.
Because ultimately it's fun. You're not going to remember. You're not really going to. You remember championships.
Yep.
But those aren't the stories you're going to remember. You're going to remember something ridiculous that somebody did as a player. Yep. And whatever you did, and those are the stories that will always come up.
That's right. Some of them you probably can't tell on the radio with some of these kids.
There are a couple that I wouldn't tell on the radio.
Too funny. Well, Coach Steve Malenfant, thank you so much for coming on. I enjoyed this very much.
Thank you, Andrew.
Usually I do a segment with Tyler at the end, but I decided to waive that segment today because I was enjoying this so much. So we'll make up for it here. You got more time next week.
Thanks a lot.
Really enjoyed
Thanks,
it.
Ty. Nice seeing you.
Thanks for coming on. Yeah, Tyler Neufeld on the radio side, David Kramer doing the TV producing.
Thanks, Dave.
David out there, I'm sure he's giving a thumbs up somewhere. I don't think there's audio. I think he just cares about the picture, to be honest with you. But Coach Malenfant, we really appreciate it. Why don't you throw the plaque up there one more time so we can kind of take us home there. There it is. Last year's championship squad. Looking to repeat this year, and judging by some of the smirks from Coach Malenfant, I think he kind of likes this team this year too. So we'll see if the Newburyport Clippers golf team can make a bit of a run. Coach, you have a good weekend. Tyler, you have a good weekend.
Thank you.
David, have a good weekend. Sarah Hayden, have a good weekend. And have a good weekend to all of you out there. That is our last show for the week. Actually, next week is already booked up. I won't tell you who's on, but we got a packed week of shows next week, and it's going to be fun. Let's just leave it at that. We'll tease you to come back next Tuesday, 3 o'clock. I will be here. It is Afternoon Drive. My name is Drew Moholland. Joppa Radio. Have a great weekend. Be safe. Have fun. We'll see you next week. Bye-bye now.
To me, easy, darling, if you've got a man. got a mind to put me down. If you don't want me no more, baby, ain't no use in me hanging around.
Hi, this is David Yang, Artistic Director of the Newburyport Chamber Music Festival, and you're listening to WJOP-LP Newburyport, Joppa Radio 96.3 FM.
Ever thought about filming news, sporting events, or lifestyle stories, then editing it for sharing with others? Everywhere you look, there is a story. And when you become a member of the Greater Newburyport Community Media Hub, otherwise known as NCM Hub, you'll learn how to use the equipment to capture that story and share it with others on Comcast Channel 8 in Newburyport. Learn, create, share, and engage. Become a member of the NCM Hub. Get started by clicking on the Join button at the website ncmhub.org.
Here